to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to Perfect Pitch Radio with your host, Nicole Rodriguez.
Hey everyone, happy Thursday. Welcome to Perfect Pitch Radio. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome. This is the first time we've actually had the show at 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern. So thank you so much for joining us at our new time. We used to be a morning show, and now this afternoon, by request, we have moved the show, and we really, really appreciate those of you who are listening, following, and have continued to be loyal listeners. For those of you who are joining us too for the first time, let's explain what Perfect Pitch is a little bit. Perfect Pitch was created by me and my awesome team at NRPR to really help the PR and marketing pros step up their game when it comes to best practices and working with our awesome friends in the media. So twice a month, I will host the show, and I will bring on amazing guests, either from the media, or from the PR world. Sometimes there's an overlap in both, and that's always nice. So, but those people will come on, they will share tips and tricks, they will share their advice, they'll share anecdotal stories, all for the benefit of everyone listening so that everyone can walk away with more best practices and less, messing up when it comes to dealing with our media friends. Like I always tell people, if it wasn't for the media, us PR people wouldn't have a job. And I truly, truly believe in that because that's technically what we're supposed to be doing, right? We're supposed to help them identify stories. Whether we're working in-house or we're working at an agency, we are helping our clients, celebrities, whoever it is that we're working with on the PR side, identify great stories and then share them with the media to see if there can be a little bit of a match. So today, I'm excited about the guest. I'm always excited about our guest, but this one in particular because she and I have really, really formed an awesome relationship, I would say, over the last year. I have a tremendous amount of respect for her professionally. She does a lot of great work. Those of you guys who are familiar with Squawk Box on CNBC, probably one of my favorite business shows, and I'm glad that she has decided to join us here on the show. So without further ado, what I want to do is allow Kelsey to share her story from beginning to Squawk Box, which is absolutely amazing. Such a popular show, very well watched by people around the world, but and I'm very proud of her. So, Kelsey, first off, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's exciting to be part of the inaugural afternoon spot, especially as someone whose show kicks off at 6 a.m. Weekday morning.
Right.
So thanks very much for having me.
Absolutely. Fire up. Hope you've had some coffee.
Exactly. Usually by this point in the day, I'm dragging. So my background is very untraditional. I joined the media world after I graduated from college. I graduated from Columbia and started working in investment banking, which a lot of my friends at the time were going into analyst programs. I worked on Wall Street for an amazing firm called Centerview. And I was really blessed because despite the fact that there were very grueling hours, they were very good about giving junior analysts opportunities to interact with the public company CEOs that we were advising and really get fantastic exposure. So I think that kind of early experience, I got a lot of, made amazing relationships and really got an inside look into how CEOs and investment banking partners are really thinking about transactions and deals and all of that stuff. So it was a really great experience. And I later jumped to private equity and did some investing in family-owned businesses, so working with families and partnering with them and investing in their businesses, helping them grow, and eventually making either exits to other private equity firms or to, potential public company exits. So after that, so I started doing that for, a couple of years. But the entire time, I was obviously a very avid consumer of business news. I spent any opportunity that I had when I wasn't working, during the workday, catching up on news. And there were definitely moments where I was looking at coverage and just thinking, it would be really, really fun to cover that. It would be really fun to be a part of that. And after a couple of years in the industry, I knew that this wasn't where I wanted my career to go. So I had played with the idea a little bit in my head. It always sort of, the idea of business journalism, it sounded like something I would be interested in. And eventually I got the opportunity to interview with one of our anchors. So that was sort of how that opportunity came up. It was a very circuitous route, but it was through the editor-in-chief of the Philadelphia Inquirer, who I had met. I'm from Philadelphia originally.
Wow.
So I had met the editor-in-chief, and he connected me with the dean of a journalism school in New York. And then she eventually connected me to one of our anchors, Andrew Ross Sorkin. And I met with him for coffee, and he sort of was very excited. And then I went through the formal interview process at CNBC, and here I am.
I love it. Well, you know what? The nice thing is that sometimes untraditional paths can take us to where we are supposed to be. And I think, obviously, with your background, in finance, you actually have a different perspective when it comes to certain things that people will pitch to you, right? Like, you actually
Absolutely.
do understand from a business perspective what the viewers of Squawk Box want, right? And the viewers of Squawk Box are very, very sort of, and I don't want to say picky, right? But at the same time, they're watching your show for a reason. They're making very big decisions when it comes to their finances and investing. So they're counting on you guys to make sure that anything that you have on is either going to teach them something or give them insight so that they can make those good decisions.
Yeah, it's generally their first dose of morning news. If they turn on the TV when they're working out, when they get to their office, it is sort of their first touch point before the day really kicks off. So it's, and in the most, again, it's early in the morning. People are just getting their day started. So it's an interesting hybrid between making sure that we get across and we have both guests who are, leaders in business, leaders in politics, all the themes that our audience really cares about, that we have sort of the best perspectives on those issues. And then, also doing it in a way that's entertaining, that's engaging, and sort of starts the day, on an informative but dynamic note.
Absolutely. And I mean, congrats on the new studio. I know you guys opened it up a few months ago or whatever, but just, it's so gorgeous, right? Just the view is so pretty. I love the show. It's always very entertaining. It's a nice balance between, business, and you don't feel like you're being like, wah, 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 talked to in a way where you want to fall asleep. I mean, it is a nice way to wake up. And even whenever I'm in New York and I'm watching it, New York time, it's like it's starting 6 o'clock in the morning, but my body still feels like it's 3 a.m., but it's a nice way to wake up, and I never feel like it's that early. So honestly, just hats off. It's such a great show, and really nice to hear how you got there, and they're very lucky to have you. I can say that speaking from experience.
Parlay, but I'm very grateful. Yeah.
Right. And also, let's just throw that out there, how excited you must be about the Philadelphia Eagles being in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I am very, very excited. I get a lot of grief in the office for my Philadelphia pride. And last weekend was definitely, I was very excited to come in on Monday. Also, one of our anchors, Jim Cramer, big Philadelphia guy. We're actually going to be doing a live broadcast on Friday from Minneapolis. So definitely stay tuned for that. But very excited for the Super Bowl, and, hoping for an Eagles win for sure.
There you go. Well, fingers crossed, They really, if anyone was going to put up a good fight, I mean, I know Tom Brady and the Patriots are, they've had a good run for quite a few years, you know what I mean? But I really think that you guys have a solid chance, and I'm excited to see that all play out in the Super Bowl. So, I digress. But yeah, anyway, Kelsey, so with 2 minutes left before our commercial break, one question that I'd love to hear from you is, what advice might you give someone who might be on the same path as you? Maybe they didn't go to journalism school, but they have such an affinity for media. Maybe it's a different industry, or maybe it is business and finance and that type. But what would you tell them if they were listening now?
I think you have to just leverage your network, leverage everything that you know about the best thing is to have expertise in one particular area. And a lot of people who I know that have had success crossing over, whether they worked in tech and then became tech reporters, or they were commodities traders and now moved and they cover now commodities in a media capacity, in a journalist capacity, find whatever it is that know it well, and sell that story, sell your own personal narrative and your reasons why this move makes sense and what you could bring to the table. I think, when I was deciding to take this job, it was sort of right around the Thanksgiving, Christmas period, and I probably think that if I had more time to think it over before accepting, I probably might not have. So I think, psyching yourself out, there are obviously a lot of trade-offs that come with this profession that were different from my past prior to working at CNBC. And I knew this is something that I wanted to do, and if I had given myself more time, I probably would have talked myself out of it.
Right?
So I think
it's
exactly,
human nature.
Sometimes you just have to follow, and for ambitious people, you have a goal in mind and you're driving towards that goal. And I think sometimes letting your past be flexible enough that you say yes to an opportunity that might not have been,
That's awesome.
Might not have been the most natural. So.
Exactly. I love that. And on that note, everyone, please stay tuned. We're going to have more of Kelsey Katz and Perfect Pitch Radio right after this commercial break.
A podcast or radio show on WS Radio is a great way to create content marketing. Turn prospects into customers into raving fans. Contact Wade at WSRadio.com or call 866-WS-RADIO.
The richness of your life is reflected in the shimmering elegance found at D.O. Loon Design. One-of-a-kind jewelry and pieces from Cynthia Dillon in silver and gold help to express your unique personality. The flowing designs of her creations will empower the way you move throughout your day. Join us online at DIOLUNdesigns.com.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on Vin Village Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. VinVillage is where wine lovers connect.
One person has the power to change the world, impact millions of lives, and leave a legacy for lifetimes to come. That person is you. In the New York Times bestseller, What is Your What?, Steve Olsher, award-winning author and founder of the Reinvention Workshop, reveals his proven process that has helped thousands of men and women discover, share, and monetize the one thing they were born to do. Grab your free copy now at www.whatisyourwhat.com/free. That's www.whatisyourwhat.com/free.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to Perfect Pitch Radio with your host, Nicole Rodriguez.
Welcome back from our first break, everyone. This is your host, Nicole Rodriguez, CEO and founder of NRPR Group. And you are all listening to Perfect Pitch. So for those of you who missed the first part of the show today, I am going to reintroduce our amazing, amazing guest, Kelsey Katz, who's also a producer for Squawk Box, CNBC's amazing morning show, or morning news and talk show, which provides awesome real-time market and business perspectives from some of the biggest names in business and politics. So for those of you guys who are morning people, I suggest watching the show every morning. It's like a cup of coffee, watching Squawk Box. You feel informed on what's going on literally around the world when it comes to business and finance news. So hats off to Kelsey and the amazing team over there to keep that show, honestly, very energetic and super informative every time. So Kelsey joins us, and she gave us a little bit of a background on her non-traditional start to getting into the media business, and I'm very inspired by that. You know, not all of us get into our professions straight away out of college because that's what we had majored in. I mean, I loved PR from the second I took a PR class, but I recognized how, as I got into the industry, how rare that was, right? And I think, Kelsey, to your point, right at the close of the first quarter of the show, you were talking about how you almost psyched yourself out. And I just want to, commend you for, not listening to that little human voice in the back of our head that's like, no, maybe you should do this or maybe you should do that, that you went for it, you made the decision, you went in there confidently, and now CNBC gets to benefit from having you on their team because you are an awesome member. And I speak from experience because I've met a lot of people in media, and you're just awesome. So kudos to you for that.
It's very easy to get distracted, especially if you're going to learn a new trade,
Sure.
and you've spent, years, or in some cases, people who switch careers, who I really, really applaud after, a decade in a chosen field or even more time, making that transition. So,
Totally. So, Kelsey, in your role, you do a lot of, obviously, the production part, but booking,
right,
writing of live and taped business programming, right? And so,
Yep.
I mean, with all of that being said, you are also at the same time managing your inbox, as all of us have to do, which can sometimes be a flood of just,
I get too many
right? Right? And so you're dealing with people who are, pitching you, obviously, on the PR side. And then you're also
Right.
dealing with people on your team who are like, hey, Kelsey, where do we have this? And where does this stand? I'm sure constantly needing answers from you. But, that being said, people who are listening to the show right now, I'd love for you to share a story or two about maybe it was a PR person doing something right for you or someone on your team, or maybe it was someone who did something really wrong that helped you to sort of see, okay, we really need to start doing something XYZ in this way. But, this is the part where we love listening to stories in the newsroom and learning from them.
I will give you one anecdote of someone who did something wrong, and I'll caveat and I'll also give some positive examples. But because this happened to me actually this morning, it's very fresh in my head. But I'll start out by saying two things that I think are really critical on purely a logistics perspective, which is I don't think there's anything more irritating than getting an email, especially if it's a multi-paragraph email, and 5 minutes later getting a phone call. I don't think anyone in especially if you're, you actually are trying to get to that pitch. You flagged it for yourself, or you're currently reading it, and then you get a call in the middle of it, saying, hey, did you read this? Or, hey, can we talk about this? I think those types of follow-ups are so unnerving because normally those pitches are coming continuously throughout the day, and you're sort of managing different work streams. And so to break away, read the story, read the pitch, sort of think about when is this appropriate, is this a story I want to do, and when would be the right time to do it, and actually trying to, get your head around it, and then sort of having this interruption is really distracting. And I think that there's within a 20-minute span after sending an email, having a follow-up phone call is inappropriate. So I'll just peg that. And then also the worst thing to do is burying the lead. So if you have a great guest or you have a great reason to be sending the pitch in the first place, and this is where my story will go, the meat of it, should come first and foremost. And, today I got a pitch, and it was actually one of the weirder pitches I've gotten, and I'm not going to, call out who this person is, but the pitch was to get a CEO and co-founder of a well-known gym franchise on the show. And the way that pitch was phrased was by beginning the pitch by talking about another benchmark fitness stock that had been underperforming, that several analysts had sort of downgraded their ratings on. And yet the CEO has been making their rounds on different media outlets, talking about, all the fantastic strategic initiatives that were coming on. And I had no idea where the pitch was going after already reading a paragraph. Then we got to, this CEO can come on and tell you how wrong that guy is. Which is not what we're in the business about, is having people come on the show to talk about how a public competitor, it's one thing if you're, obviously we talk about the competitive ecosystems of a lot of these companies. Sure. It makes sense that you're going to talk about. But the pitch was completely reverse engineered. And then it was, this guy can talk about, and it was pretty much an entire other company, even though he was the CEO and co-founder of a very well-known franchise. And the last 2 bullet points in a series of 8 were the things related to his business and other sort of trends and themes that we'd be interested in. The first 4 bullets were about, essentially, bashing this other stock.
Oh, no.
So that's something that I think is completely, has all of the don'ts of a pitch, where, the details are completely extraneous. I might, in isolation, want to have the CEO on to talk about a variety of trends, whether it's, boutique fitness, other trends in healthy eating or fitness technology as they're incorporating, electronic health monitors into their equipment, things of that nature. But after the way that it was framed was completely backwards. So that would be sort of an example of a don't. A do pitch I got, I think the hardest thing about a show like Squawk Box is the news cycle has been changing so quickly, right? We have so many factors politically, in our business communities. There are so many things changing rapid fire, and our programming to stay as relevant as possible matches that same dynamism. So, if it's clear that, our show is in Davos right now, we are spending a lot of time talking about trade and globalization, and you're pitching me, a startup in the meal delivery space, that's pretty tough. So I think the pitches that actually, an example of a pitch that went really well is someone pitched me a guest in the, not to say in the health, and fitness space, but it was a new insurance model that was, driven by, it was supposed to cater to millennials. It had a tech focus. And what happened was, she pitched this and she gave me fantastic details, why that CEO is important, what this business model will do, how they're disrupting, the traditional model of service, all of those things. And the timing didn't work out. But then what she did was a couple weeks later, she saw that we had done a story about it and that now we were talking, that was sort of the theme of the show had kind of bubbled up to the surface. And she said, hey, just want to remind you I have this great guest. And we were spending a lot of time, in that area. So it was the perfect, she sort of just gently reminded me that, and I think those are the types of if a pitch can't be executed, within at the time, or within that same week, the best thing to do is to follow along and show interest in where our stories are going and what we're focused on, and say, hey, I know that you just did this yesterday. Are you interested? Is this still something that you're talking about? Or if there's a piece of legislation that came out affecting the insurance industry, and you say, hey, I have this great guest. So I think, calling back, introducing the guest, whenever you're going to send the pitch email might be timely for you, but again, the show priorities might be completely different, and then sort of trying to eventually sync that guest with where our show priorities are. And I think that shows a level of understanding and just actually following along with our show, and knowing what it is that we're doing. So.
And a high intelligence level, too. I mean, if you really think about your viewers, again, you're looking at some of the top leaders in business who are watching. If you are blindly pitching and maybe have only watched one episode or a glimpse of one, and you're trying to pitch business news, you got to do it intelligently, plain and simple, and also understanding that you guys move quickly, and so your pitch has to move quickly in terms of getting to the point who it is. I think, to your point, being honest up front, like, hey, this might not work right now, but I just saw this, and if you guys were open to this, and this, point, this person could be awesome. Here's a link to his, LinkedIn and his Crunchbase, and here's what else he's done. Let me know. Maybe we can talk about it down the road when you have a minute. Just wanted to get it out to you while it was fresh in my head. It's, it's fast, and then at that point, do not call 5 minutes later. I think that's crazy. It's not necessary. And the funny thing, we're actually going to go to a commercial break. So before I finish that part, we go into our next. We are going to break for our next commercial. So, Kelsey, thank you so much. Everyone, you're listening to Perfect Pitch Radio. I'm your host, Nicole Rodriguez, and we have the awesome Kelsey Katz from CNBC Squawk Box. So don't go away. We'll be right back after this short break.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on VinVillage Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. VinVillage is where wine lovers connect.
Attention business owners. If you feel like your business owns you and want to grow your company and get your life back, then get the Scale Toolkit at ScaleYourBusinessToolkit.com. Created by Wall Street Journal bestselling author David Finkel and Priceline.com co-founder Jeff Hoffman, this free collection of 36 videos and PDF tools will help you build a business, not a job. Go to ScaleYourBusinessToolkit.com today and learn how to work less by getting your business to produce more.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
If you heard that sound, you probably are eligible for insurance from Navy Mutual, insuring the men and women of the Navy, Marines, and Coast Guard. Here's what one policyholder, retired Navy Commander Thomas Dade, had to say.
Navy Mutual is the best insurance decision I ever made. I wish you had a savings plan available that earned the rates my Navy Mutual insurance has been earning.
Navy Mutual Aid Association, started by military members in 1879, serves active, reserve, and retired military today. Navy Mutual honors our military by providing them affordable life insurance with the features they need without fine print, sales fees, or military service restrictions. Value, integrity, trust, and stability are the cornerstones on which our commitment to you and your loved ones are built. Call Navy Mutual at 1-800-628-6011 or NavyMutual.org for your personal life insurance plan consultation. 1-800-628-6011 or NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to Perfect Pitch Radio with your host, Nicole Rodriguez.
Halfway through our very first episode of Perfect Pitch at the 3 o'clock Pacific hour. Thank you, everyone who have followed us from our morning time over to our new afternoon time. We're so excited. For those of you who are brand new and joining us for the first time, Perfect Pitch was created to help PR and marketing pros really step up their game when it comes to best practices. Additionally, for those friends of ours in the media who like to listen as well, this is just a great sort of arena for everyone to listen to both sides of the fence, so everyone walks away better professionals, more mindful of what the other sort of side has to deal with on a day-to-day, because when it really comes down to it, we're all just humans trying to get our jobs done. And so this is our way, NRPR. We started this show to sort of give back and give our media friends an opportunity to share a little bit of what goes on in their world, and for PR people to also do the same when we invite great PR agency owners to talk about what happens at a firm or in-house or all of that. So either way, this is all our sort of giving back and making that happen. So we are halfway through this episode, and for those of you who didn't catch the first half, let me reintroduce our awesome guest, Kelsey Katz, who's a producer for Squawk Box, which is CNBC's morning news and talk show, which provides real-time market and business perspectives from some of the biggest names in business and politics. So before Kelsey joined Squawk Box, she actually spent time in both private equity and investment banking. So some of you guys who have been on, you guys got to hear that she had a very non-traditional sort of start in the media, but we are so glad that she's here now, and so glad that she's also become a good friend, and that I've been able to spend a great amount of time over the past few months, maybe almost a year, really getting to know her, and have grown a tremendous amount of respect for her and the rest of the team over there at Squawk Box. So, Kelsey, welcome again. This is the second half of the show, and we're so glad you're here.
Thank you very much. I was going to say, your tagline, right, hustle with conscience. I like to say hustle with heart. Same thing. I think, this is a great way to sort of think about, the best way for both media and PR to really have, a dynamic and productive relationship. So thank you very much for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. It's my pleasure. And right before we went into the break, you were just sharing some really good stories with great points, right? And I think I was finishing a thought with regards to one of the points that you had made in pitching and follow-up timing. When I was an AE, I do remember one of my bosses was saying, okay, first you got to blast all these pitches out. You got to get them all out. And, and they literally showed us how to blast, which I felt so gross at that. I was like, this feels so wrong. I'm not pitching people one by one, which was what I was originally, when I first started my career, was taught how to pitch. I was taught quality over quantity, and that used to work. And so going into this bigger agency environment where I'm like, wait a minute, this is a very established agency. You're basically teaching me how to be lazy. I don't think I like this. And then they would say, okay, and right after you send it, make sure that you call them. And I just refused. I was like, look, I think that as a courtesy, don't you think we should give them a couple hours to consider it? And then if it gets buried, then give them a call, and don't say, did you read my email? Say, hey, I have a great idea for you. Do you have 2 minutes? Right. Okay, great. If you do, if you'd like to follow along, some of these points are in an email that I sent to you this morning that could be buried, but if not, let me give you the 1-minute spiel. I would get more luck being honest and telling people that than, hey, did you get my email? Media people are too busy to be like, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know you. How do I know if your name popped up in my email or whatever? Totally. So you bring up such a great point, and I think that there's a courtesy window that you got to give. People are busy in the morning. They're busy all day. Give them 5 seconds to breathe and to regurgitate what you sent them so they can make a decision when you call them later. Or, you know what, the next stop could just be a quick follow-up at the end of the day. Hey, I'm sure this got buried at the bottom, but I really believe there might be something we can do here together. Let me know. Give them a second chance to just unbury it, right, as a courtesy.
I think that's totally right. And I think to follow up on your point, I understand the nature of sending out, casting a wide net, but I've gotten so many emails that, have forgotten to delete another show's name that's not even part of our network that are part of it. Say, hey, we'd love to have so-and-so on this show, and it's like a Fox show. Or moments where, I was pitched a fantastic guest, and I responded probably within a 10-minute window, and they sent me an email accidentally because they were going so fast, and it was to an anchor on another network who they had booked it for within that same window because I knew that they were reaching out to CNBC and Bloomberg and Fox and a variety of other shows concurrently. So I would say, there's probably a lot of calculus that goes on for you, Nicole, when you're thinking about what's my gold standard, what's the best outcome and target that will give my client the best exposure, and what's the best fit for that. And I think if you have that clearly defined, you say CNBC Squawk Box is the best venue and the best platform for these ideas, to get it to come across, for my guests to thrive, for this to be productive discussion, it goes obviously both ways. Then you wait for that, because there's nothing more frustrating than knowing that, you've been reached out, someone reached out to you and they also reached out to 150 other people. And, we have certain conditions where we can't have a guest on our show who has done a competing network within a certain time frame, or who has, is going on, is doing a big media circuit, because, that sort of loses the, we like to be there obviously first, and that's sort of the name of the game for most media professionals.
I agree wholeheartedly, Kelsey. It's kind of like being cheated on. You're just like, ew, wait a minute. Oh my God, I felt so special. And then all of a sudden I found out he swiped right on 20 other people? No. Nobody wants that. Exactly. I agree, and I think to that point, there is a very special guest that you and I are working on with one of our clients that I will tell you exclusively, like, we're not dating anyone else when it comes to that guest, okay? You're all good.
It's music to my ears.
Right?
No, it's true. You want to, exactly. And I think that when you know that you're working with someone who, when they say that it's exclusive, and they're very clear with the language that they're using, if it's a first-on appearance, if it's part of a broader, press junket, sort of what their intentions are. And I think that's really important, because you can sort of establish a really good relationship with someone and their client when it's clear, what it is, what are they bringing to the table, and what kind of discussion can we have, and how many other people are going to have the same exact discussion.
Totally.
Because our viewers are used to getting, they want really premium access. They want great content, and a lot of that comes, exclusivity is one part of that, and then also having, a really fruitful discussion. And I think that gets diluted the more and more times that conversation is had on a variety of different outlets.
I agree. And I think, a high level of integrity overall, you remember your reputation will follow you everywhere as a professional anywhere, right? And so I think about, how long I've been in the industry and have just been mindful of the fact that, I knew I would have different clients and different times, and that if I was going to pitch one client this one opportunity, I had to look way past that and look at the relationship that I was forming with that person on the media side, knowing that if I mess up here, there's no way I can call them back again ever for another media person if I'm just schmarmy, like, just not working with integrity, and so that's a big thing, is just remembering, especially on the PR side, it's not just one thing that you're pitching. You have to think about your career and the longevity of that and where the relationship with the media person goes. And sometimes that means pushing back on a pushy client who's like, I want to be on Fox and on CNBC and on blah, blah, blah. You have to stop them and say, no.
Get me on every show. Exactly.
You hired me to be, the professional that understands the media. Let me tell you something. If we're going to pitch you an exclusive to CNBC, we need to wait for them to say yes before we move on, or a no. And if it's a no, then we go on one by one. Again, it's like, you're not going to get anywhere by trying to be sneaky and dating multiple people. It just does not work. And so I have learned that our customers or clients will appreciate a little bit of pushback if you show that you've got their best interest. And I think that overall, that's really, boded well for everyone, and then the media appreciate that.
Yeah, and I think sometimes there's you and I have had this conversation before, and I think it's been really successful, where aspects of a story of whether it's a new product that's being brought to market, or, it's not just a fundraising round, there's a bigger news peg, or there's something else that might not come across as well right off the bat, iterating together and saying, well, what's the best way that we can structure this conversation that gets, the maximum effect? Because, we do have more of a niche focus than others, and there's definitely times where we go outside of our strike zone, and we'll do stories that are, we either, have companies on or celebrities on or other guests that might fall outside of the traditional norm. But there's like a reason, and those are planned and thoughtful. And when I get pitches on lifestyle stories, either people confusing us with sort of some of our sister programming over at NBC, or I get a pitch about like a new very lifestyle, or like fashion, or childcare, things that are just really
hold that thought. We are going into our next break. I'm like, we just got so fired up. Everybody, I'm sure everyone's like, do not go away, because clearly Kelsey and I are just killing it right now on this show. You do not want to walk away. Kelsey, hold that thought. We'll be back. Everyone, Perfect Pitch Radio will be back just in a few minutes.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on Vin Village Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. VinVillage is where wine lovers connect.
You've heard me talking about Progressive Medical Center. They have helped me feel my best. And Dr. Gully, tell us a little bit about integrative medicine. Why is that such a big deal at Progressive Medical Center, and how can that make me feel better?
Integrative medicine is just good medicine. It's combining the best of traditional medicine, nutritional medicine, natural medicine, and really helping the patient get to the root cause so they can take control of their health and really make an impact to improve not only their energy, their vitality, and just their overall outlook on their health and their life.
I procrastinated for a long time before I finally made an appointment. So why should someone not delay and go ahead and get set up and come see you guys?
Any journey begins with that first step, and that first step means making a decision to recognize that there's something wrong with you. Whether you have fatigue, inappropriate weight gain, not sleeping well, not concentrating, all of these issues, you can get to the root cause.
So many of us here at The Fish have gotten help from Progressive Medical Center. So why don't you find out more from them today? Go to progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life. Live it well.
You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple. and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com, on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
Attention business owners. Does it feel like your business owns you? See if you qualify for a free 90-minute business coaching session to help you build a business, not a job. During this free 90-minute strategic consultation, one of our senior coaches will help you map out the best way to grow your company and get your life back. To learn more, go to MauiMasterminds.com/scale now. That's MauiMasterminds.com/scale now.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to Perfect Pitch Radio with your host, Nicole Rodriguez.
Welcome back to Perfect Pitch Radio, everyone. I'm your host, Nicole Rodriguez, and we are here with our very special guest, Kelsey Katz, who is just a total wealth of knowledge, and we're so happy to have her on today. We were just sharing some stories and literally got fired up before the commercial break that I literally lost track of time, which is awesome, but now we're back, and excited to sort of wrap the show with hopefully some more tips from Kelsey that I'm sure she's going to want to share with us. But, you know, right now, I'd love, Kelsey, I know that we kind of ended, you were in the middle of a thought with regards to how people will pitch you and get you confused with your sort of NBC shows, right? It's like, no, we're CNBC, the shows that we kind of have here, like off the top of my head, I'm thinking Mad Money, Lunchbox, Squawk Box, all of that, you know, and that people could easily, you know, if they are not watching those shows and informing themselves by getting really familiar with them, it's very unfortunate, but I can see where they could make a misstep and try to pitch something a little bit more lifestyle and fashion-focused versus, you know, business, which is, you know, the audience that you guys are more sort of focused on. So you were going into that, so I just want to let you finish that thought before we go into our final segment or area of the show.
Sure. So, yeah, I mean, I think our definition of business is quite broad, but it is always a little bit, you know, leaves a bad taste when someone crafts you a pitch that's clearly meant for another show, another network entirely. And we have Squawk Box, we have Squawk on the Street. There are a lot of different shows, and each of those shows on CNBC has their own character, their own sort of feel to it, and sort of guest, like spectrum of guests involved. And, you know, we're 3 hours of live programming Monday through Friday, so there are, you know, on any given day, likely 15 different guests on. So, you know, we do have a large number of guests on the show, but, you know, we do stay in a very particular niche. So, you know, it's clear that there's an element of thoughtfulness when you receive a pitch, and it isn't even in the vicinity of the things that, you know, are put on your air, and so out of left field. And it's one of those things, and Nicole, you mentioned this earlier, where, you know, your client roster is deep, and you're thinking about creating a relationship with a media entity that's going to span longer than that 5-minute interview or 10-minute interview. And so it's really hard to entertain pitches from the same person when certain things like that have come up, right? Your kind of perspective has been colored in a certain way. So that's definitely a red flag for, you know.
Yeah, your reputation will follow you, right? And it's almost like the little boy that cried wolf, and then people are like, nope, now I'm not going to believe you. Now each time you pitch me, I've, you know, been given the wrong guest, or you've given me false information, or, you know, the things have fallen through, you know, so you have to think about everything long term and look at it from, you know, again, public relations, I look at it as at that end is relationships. And we don't have jobs without solid relationships with media. And sometimes that just comes with having enough integrity to also be honest and say, look, I feel like this might be a stretch. I saw 1 or 2 times on Squawk Box where this happened, but I see that it's not common. So if this is wrong, let me know. But I kind of want to give it to you just simply because, I think that the viewers would really appreciate this, or maybe there's something that we can work out, or do you see a different kind of vision for this? I'm sure you'd appreciate more honesty that way than, really trying to come to the table with something false and looking at it and saying, oh, absolutely not, this just doesn't fit.
And in the branding, too, right, if you're saying this is going to be some sort of market-moving story, and it's so clear to anyone with even an inkling of understanding about how the markets work that this is so far from that. So to be real with, I think, this will impact consumers in this way, or, because there are obviously industries that I know better than others, and some that are innovating so quickly that, it's helpful. Sometimes these pitches are actually very informative because you're realizing that either a sector is growing more than you think, or this product is, there's a market for something that is so much bigger than you thought. And you know what? Maybe you should bring this to, an international attention. Maybe this should be a broadcast segment because, this many people care about it. So I think the more, especially for our show, the more concrete you can get about why is this important and what impact will this have, I think that's usually the most productive, because then there's a real underlying case for why this deserves public attention. Why does this deserve the airtime that it's going to get?
Honestly, so I'm looking at our timer, and I have no idea how the heck we've gone through an entire episode so quickly, and just honestly, we should probably have you back. I feel like there's more that I want to pick from your brain, but we have a minute left, and I want everyone to be able to find you online if they haven't seen Squawk Box at all.
You have 3 more minutes.
Oh, Wade, thank you. We love our producer. I'm looking at a time clock that tells me I have a minute. I'm looking at the clock. We love him. Everyone, shout out to Wade for giving us 2 more minutes. Look at that. We love him. All right, cool. So we have 2 more minutes, but this has been a really, really great show, Kelsey, and I'm so appreciative of your time. Again, reminding everyone, you are up at the crack of dawn for your show this morning, literally 3 o'clock in the morning kind of situation where your day starts. So thank you for just extending your day, being with us, and catching your second win for Perfect Pitch. But, where can people find you and CNBC, Squawk Box, and all the other shows online? They should watch now and obviously tune in live from their TVs.
So obviously, turn on your TV and watch CNBC. Also, CNBC.com has great stories and recaps of all the videos. Like I said, right now we're in Davos, and we're meeting with the biggest public company CEOs, political leaders. So definitely check that out. And I know Nicole spent a good amount of time talking about my accomplishments, which is really fantastic. And if anyone does it right, it's her.
A podcast or radio show on WS Radio is a great way to create content marketing. Turn prospects into customers into raving fans. Contact Wade at WSRadio.com or call 866-WS-RADIO.
Controversy and conversation to upset the status quo. A no-holds-barred exploration and obliteration of the limits of possibility. Join me, Steve Olsher, and my rambunctious crew on Reinvention Radio, where each week we scour the planet to bring you the world's foremost social, business, political, technology, and scientific disruptors who challenge the accepted and forge daring, cutting-edge paths. That's Reinvention Radio, where normal comes to die and mediocrity meets its final demise.
Kenja Dixon was crowned the #1 sales executive through hard work, deep thinking, and the revelation of Universal Talk Laws. He now wants to share these lessons with you. Universal Talk Laws are what you need to know and use in business and at home to have successful and effective conversations. Kenja Dixon shares his wisdom, action plans, and wealth. Each book comes with a chance to win $10,000. Find Universal Talk Laws at KenjaDixon.com. On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Hi, Scale listener. This is David Finkel, co-host with Jeff Hoffman of Scale Your Business. I wanted to let you know that our newest book, Scale, was just released and to encourage you to get your copy. The book will give you 7 proven principles to grow your business and get your life back. If you've ever wanted to grow your business but held yourself back from fear that it would take over your life, then we urge you to get your copy of Scale today. It'll give you a proven roadmap for rapidly growing your business while also gaining more personal freedom. Scale will help you work less by getting your business to produce more. Scale is for every entrepreneur who ever wondered if they really own their business or if their business owns them. Get your copy online or at your local bookseller. For more information, visit us online at scaleyourbusinesstoolkit.com. That's scaleyourbusinesstoolkit.com.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
Thank you for listening to WS Radio. Improve your business and your life with useful information from experts and thought leaders. WS Radio is radio with ROI.
I can't speak more highly about Progressive Medical Center and how they've helped me get my health back, get my energy back. And Dr. Agoli, when I first came to you guys, you found a thyroid problem, and I had no clue. But that's really common with a lot of your patients, right?
Underactive thyroid is the most misdiagnosed condition in the United States. According to the American Academy of Endocrinology, well over 25% of the population is not being diagnosed properly. It's because of the testing parameters. If you go to your traditional doctor, they could be missing a key component. If you have crushing fatigue, inappropriate weight gain, cold hands, cold feet, losing hair, lack of concentration, even headaches and migraines could be caused by underactive thyroid. At Progressive Medical, we get to the root cause of the problem because we are integrative, and integrative medicine is good medicine. We use a combination of medication, natural supplements, diet, nutrition, lifestyle modification, and that's what makes it so unique because we tailor it to your personal needs, and that's interesting because you are tailored.
Yes, and if you want to get your energy back, be the most vibrant version of yourself, you got to get to Progressive Medical Center. I'm so glad I went. Contact them today through progressivemedicalcenter.com.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world without their smiles or their laughter? A world where children don't play or sing or dream or imagine?
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we can't imagine a world without children. That's why we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children everywhere. Diseases like cancer, pediatric AIDS, and sickle cell. And we won't stop until every child is cured and every disease is defeated. Because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.